Hello and welcome to Solid Dan Gaming. This is episode 2 of our Let's Play Ostriv Alpha 3 series. If you didn't watch the last episode, then by all means jump across to the channel now and watch that and come back, or you can just watch from here, it should be fine. So just a recap on the last episode really, we pretty much got all our residents in their houses before December. It's now October, it's beginning of October. We built the forestry down there and the thatchers. We've got the blacksmiths underway and the charcoal pits ready for the blacksmith, and then we've got carpenters plotted out just ready to go. Clay pits obviously there, it doesn't really matter, but the mayor is obviously in his house up the top here on his estate. We're going to grow that, put some other buildings in there and make that look a bit more presentable. It looks a bit average at the moment, but that's fine, we'll get there. As you can see, I did a little bit of work in the background. Now, I've plotted all these fences out. This is going to be kind of our roadway plan for our residential area that leads up around there. And obviously we'll grow on that and extend it out, but that just gives us a good skeleton for us to work to. That's where my bridge is going to come across here to get onto the island this side and out of the main town, which is where our trading post is going to be. Right there, that's what these two X's signify, that's the trading post. I sort of figure that that's a pretty important building to have in the centre of town, so I kind of like to keep that mapped out from the beginning so I can see where I'm working from, because it's obviously roads coming in and out to suit that. Then as you go through here, this gate here leads us into our farming district, or our agricultural district, and we're going to have obviously our farms along here and the paddocks or the fields on this side. Just keeps everything separated, just gives us, like I said, a guide for our roadways and where we can plop our buildings. And then this road leads us back down into the industrial. This fence is not a road yet, but it will be. Leads us back into the industrial area. Now I may throw a couple of houses in around the back here, with a bit of cushioning with the trees here, but I don't really want to put them in the industrial area, but I don't really know what I'm going to put in there to fill this area up, but it may not even fill it up at all. If I do, maybe just plot some trees that we can cut and then regrow and put some saplings in each year, or each couple of years, depending on how often we rotate. Obviously this pathway here, this fence, leads us down towards the other bridge that we're going to create. Across to the other side where our minerals are, and that's pretty much it. So I just thought I'd do that just so you've got an idea and you can sort of visually see how this is going to unfold. Now in the meantime, in the background there, I did kind of discover a couple of things. I was hoping, well, I did mention that I was going to hopefully put some fishing along this riverbank here. Well, actually I can't do that. It's the land isn't suitable for it. It's uneven land. So if I just show you that there, uneven terrain. So if I go all the way, the only time I can start using them is on this bend here. So I could technically bring them round this blacksmith point here, which I may do. I just don't want to interrupt the bridge, and obviously I need to have a boathouse there too. So we'll see how we go with that. But it's not the end of the world if we have to bring them around here. I'm not sure if we can get them on the other side yet. Hopefully we can. Actually, yeah, I can tell. Yeah, you can use them. You can go all along there. Uneven terrain starts there and there. So there we've got that section of river. So that's fine. And another thing, this is just a minor detail. Absolutely nothing wrong with it because it's quite accurate, but for some people it won't be relevant. For people like me who are a little bit particular about things, if you notice here, you see the fence, the posts are on this side and it switches. That is all mapped out. These ones are going to change, so it doesn't matter, but I actually mapped this whole area out with our fences. And then I got to a certain point, and I'd obviously started from this end and then joined it up, starting from that end and coming back to it, and it was all one way was facing this way, the other side was facing the other way. It, like, realistically doesn't matter, but that sort of visually was affecting my OCD, so I had to fix it. And I just thought I'd let you know so that you guys know. So that's only on fence 2 that happens, because fence 1 is just a pretty straightforward... Oh, maybe it does happen on that? No, I think that one's okay because the fence posts are in the centre. So fence 1 you're okay. Fence 3 is the same, it's in the centre. It's on both sides actually on that one. The bottom rail is on the back and the top 2 rails are on the front. That's irrelevant. Doesn't really matter. This one they're definitely on the centre, so you can't go wrong with fence 4. This is the fancy picket sort of federation style fence. And then, so fence 2 is the only one you need to worry about. So if I click from the left to right, that's showing me the face. Now, if I click right to left, it shows the back. So you see that? So just bear that in mind if you are creating paths. You kind of want this side facing in really, don't you? So you're not seeing the posts. Like I said, it doesn't really matter. Just personally, I prefer to have everything consistent and looking neat, especially when you're mapping a town out the way I am, so that everything is kind of all about the aesthetic and functionality. It sort of just makes that much of a difference. There's bits and pieces I'm going to change throughout, but so generally I've gone with fence 4. Like I said, it's a nice style fence, and I think we're going to have that. Just a lot of these are going to go because obviously I'm plotting houses, but it's a good guide. But that'll be the fence for in the towns. It's quite a nice looking fence. I could use that, but I've sort of reserved that one for just extending plots of houses and things like that. And then the farm style, which is the fence 2 that I was just discussing, I'm going to have in my agricultural area because I think that looks good as a sort of farm look fence. Right, so let's get on with it. Today we're going to obviously let's get this unpaused and see where we're at. We're going to get the smithy built. It's almost there, sort of just over halfway. Then we'll build the carpentry, and then while that's happening, I'm going to start building some farms. Let's get some food for our people. Otherwise, we're going to have a mutiny because they're going to run out. Not just yet. They've got enough to keep them going and keep them happy. But I want, before the end of this year, I want these farms mapped out so that come end of February, when that snow has melted, they can start sowing these fields immediately. Now, I'll put this not the house, I'm doing that wrong straight away. Let's put the farm in. As I said, I am actually going to put all the farm houses along this side. So if I just put that sort of there, or maybe I keep them off the road. No, I'll keep them on the road. So that's the idea of that skeleton. So if we spin it that way, I can see a little bit clearer. I'm going to start a little bit further down, just in case my town centre pushes out a bit more and I need to change it. I need to move that gate post down a bit, and that can all change to suit. But I think I mentioned it in the first episode. I will do a certain amount on screen and a bit in the background, just so you don't have to sit and watch me map out fences and things. Let's delete, I think it was that section. Maybe I'll wait till it's built and then we'll delete the fence. They can access from there. Once that's built, we can map out our fields or our paddocks. I am going to have only one farm to start with because I want to build our population. We've only got 30, so we're going to have a limited number of workers. And so with that in mind also, until we grow to a larger population, I'm going to grow all 5 crops. So that's wheat, potato, sunflower, buckwheat and hemp. And I'm going to rotate in such a manner that we're only ever harvesting 3 fields. So 3 of those 5 paddocks are going to be harvested, so they're never going to be under too much stress to get done before before the beginning of winter. Sorry, I was sort of thinking that through as I was speaking. So we have the first field's going to be wheat and potatoes. Second field will also be wheat and potatoes. Third field, sunflowers and buckwheat, and then the fourth field, sunflowers and buckwheat, and then the last one will be hemp. And once we start mapping that out, I'll show you the rotation over a 6-year, because we've got 5 fields. I'm going to have a 6-year rotation plan. And we'll see that as and when. So what I'm going to do is just get this sped up so we can get the blacksmiths built. The carpenters, because we do need to service our carts. If we have a look here in the camp, they're going to start breaking down on this soon. So as soon as the carpenter's built, we'll get the blacksmiths creating metal parts. Just reduce the wage quickly. Remember to hire women just to free up the workforce. Reduce the wage of labourers and the blacksmith. Apply to all. I always click that. I know there's only one blacksmith, but just in case, down the line, let's get the blacksmith in there. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this. I can't remember if I did. Resource supply. If you check this, look, labourer by hand. So when he runs out of iron and charcoal, currently it's only set that he will refill that. So he's going to take time away from what he's doing to go to wherever the nearest warehouse is to collect iron and charcoal. Obviously the charcoal's there. And he's going to do it by hands and by cart. Now, if you're travelling a long distance, you want him to do it by cart to make it a lot faster, obviously. So I think, for me, and currently it's only him, I'm going to set the labourers to do it by hand and by cart, because, first of all, the iron is here. And then when I purchase it, it'll be at the trading post, but I'm going to have a warehouse here. Sorry, there's a bit of a worker problem going on here, and that was probably again because of construction. Prices are better than forestry. I need to increase the wages just to keep them happy for now, so that they're not... He'll jump in and take the job, and then he'll realise there's a construction job that's paying more. So if I just reduce that also. So I've got one man looking for a job, and that will be allocated to the carpenter shortly. So the blacksmith's in there with a labourer. So back where we were, labourer by cart and hands. I haven't got any wagons yet, so I don't need to apply that, but it's just those little details that will make the difference in keeping everything efficient. So if you can have labourers restocking his coal, his charcoal and his iron, great. He doesn't have to leave, he just keeps working. He's not making horseshoes yet, don't see the need for that, and actually they don't sell for very much anyway. So, until I get horses, I don't think I'm going to bother. Okay, carpentry. Let's get a worker in there straight away and reduce that wage to 50%. 50%. Now we've got everybody in where they need to be. I'm going to reduce that back down also, because we've got 2 workers in the forestry, 1 smithy, 1 carpenter who's going to repair. He's using the metal parts and he's going to start repairing the carts soon enough. Resource supply again, labourer by hand and labourer by cart, so he can keep getting wood brought over and metal parts. He doesn't have to leave. And hire only women for the labourers. I don't know if I did that on that one. I think I did, yeah. When we start to see a bit of a change in the looking for a job and vacancies, we'll mix those settings up a little bit just to keep on top of the employment rate. But currently we can set it so that the women are busy and the men are also just doing what they need to be doing. Okay, so they're currently working on the farm. And where are we at here? Let's have a look. We've got 500 iron and 112 nails still from the original. That's good. The well, they're going to start crying out for water. Here you go, they already are. Now, where can I put a well? I'm going to put one right there, because that's going to be a little laneway and there won't be anything there, so even if I put a house there, it'll be offset in line with this one. So let's do that. And here comes the snow. So we're in December now, and we're on top of things, so I'm happy with how things are going. We'll put that there, and we'll just break that fence a little bit. Yep. And just patch it back in. There we go. So, sticky fences. Okay. Now, once they've built the farm, we'll see what's happening. I'm just going to check. So what was I doing here? Just checking. So I've got 2 forestry workers, 1 carpenter, 1 blacksmith. So that's 4. 5 is the mayor. 6, 7, 8, 9. Everybody is employed and not a problem. So there's 1 open vacancy for a woman. But that is potentially... Now, we've got more thatch than we need now. I'm going to reduce that job and let that vacancy get filled. So, 5 women are now looking for a job, and I'm guessing that's because the labour has slowed. I think that's actually, that's just going to bounce around for a little while. Yeah, look, 3, 2. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, farm is complete. Let's just pause because this section here I need to get done so that they can start planting in February, March. Right, so we are good to go. Now, the farm, let's click on this first of all. Prioritise gathering. Basically just means that they'll I don't know the term for it, so someone can correct me if they know it, but when they start picking and harvesting the field, they're going to stack it up in piles, and then other people will come in and gather it and collect it and take it away. If you prioritise gathering, those labourers will take that away immediately. If you don't click that, they'll just make sure they get everything harvested, so you know you're getting harvested in time, and then you can come back to gathering after. They'll just come back and gather as and when. Supply for oxen, obviously if you're going to get a plough ordered, you need oxen, and supply for oxen will just make sure there's always food in this farmhouse for oxen. You need a manager, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to say hire women only on the farm because I know that I can control this population, that I can control this that way. Labourers limit 20, 50% wage, yep, cool. Supply, everything is by cart and hands, water and hay, that's for the oxen, see? Okay, now, workers, we won't have any workers just yet because we don't need them, but that's set up, ready to go now. I'll add a field, and we'll put the field in. Where's the other side of that road? I just need to draw that in quickly. Keep this one nice and wide because it is our main road into our town, which will eventually become a city. So you see this here gives us a pretty good, it's already getting narrow, but that's fine. We'll take it back out and there we go, that's plenty. So I know that that piece has got to come out there. Delete that and that, and we'll just patch that back in. Now, I've put the wrong fence in, haven't I? Yeah, okay, doesn't matter. I'll change that off screen. Do this one quickly, left to right, because I know I'm looking at the face. And then this one here, I'm going to have to do left to right again, because I want to see the face of it. So we go, it won't let me, so I need to go, okay, pretty much in the middle of that. Pretty much there. Perfect. That's it. Now, I guess I could have just linked the fence up, and I may do somewhere down the line, just link it up there and there. That would make it easier, but as it stands, that's the opening we're going to have. We're going to have an opening there, let that drop, and add a field. So we'll have our first field. It is on that. Currently it's on that, but I think I'm going to... I guess I probably should make them as large as I can. So let's do that. And we go too long. Yeah, that's good. So that's one. They're going to have to travel a fair distance in between these fields, but that doesn't faze me. There. Too long. Hopefully I'm keeping this kind of parallel. Not that it matters, I know, again, it's just me being... Yeah, no, it wasn't. Too long. Stop it, Dan. There we go. Perfect. Add another field. Just like I said, I like to pause these parts because it does put you under a bit of stress. Just trying to get these done in time for... Well, actually now I can unpause because I know that we're going to get the last one plotted out easily before January, February. 2 months yet, so add a field. Now there's a reason I'm putting them all on this side and not on the other, and that is that I just want everything to be sort of neat, and I'm going to have the buildings on that side, any other farm buildings that I need, or might have some livestock and things like that, and we'll have them. Okay, the well's built, so now we don't have any more construction to do, so I might just keep them busy and give them some more things to do. We've built our farm, we're going to set that up, but I think we'll go down here first and we'll get a boathouse built along this headland here, just so that we can get some fish coming in, because fish will be instant. We need a boatyard first. Where do we want to put the boatyard? He can be right behind the carpenter. Look at that. That works really well, doesn't it? Wow, I can actually put that all the way anywhere along there. Okay, so I could have fishing along that section. Maybe it's just the fishing that I can't. Here we go. Put them in. That's the boatyard. And then we'll put one fishing dock in the first spot that we can get it there. Right, cool, we're looking good. Now we will set this up so we can unpause now. Click on here. So like I said, we're going to have 5, I've only done 4, haven't I? That's fine. So I need to do another field. Add a field and click it there. Too long, that's fine, too long. Okay, a little bit funny shot. I think they seem to be getting smaller at the end here, but that's okay. Oh no, they're alright. It puts a bit of a wind in the road, that's all good. Alright, let's do it. So click on the field, we're going to have wheat and potatoes in the first field, wheat and potatoes in the second field, sunflower buckwheat, and hemp. So let's... What am I doing with this camera? Stop it. Right. Wheat, first year. No, first year we're going to be fallow. So let's just put in the 6 years first of all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So fallow, wheat, potatoes. So this is all based on, if you haven't played or if you're still new to this sort of thing, this is all based on the fertilisation of the soil and how much nutrients are left after you plant a crop. Obviously in real life you have to rotate crops, so it's the same in the game. When you plant wheat, it takes 50% of the first nutrients, 60% of the second, and 0 of the last. So that would leave 50%, 40%, and 100%. So 50% orange, 40% green, and 100% blue. Well, the other one that we can plant is potatoes, because that just needs 50% and 30%. It'll all make sense when you start to see what's happening anyway. So wheat, potatoes, fallow. So we go fallow, wheat, potatoes, fallow, wheat, potatoes. Next. No, that's, if you say actually next, skips the season, so we won't go fallow. Activate that. Don't plough, we want it to plough if they can, when they can. That's that one, so we go to number 2. I can do this all in a farmhouse actually, so I'll add all these in. And you'll see this plotted out now also. So this one is going to be, starting with potatoes, then it'll be fallow, then it'll be wheat. Potatoes, fallow, I don't know why I'm clicking that, wheat. So you can see when we're fallow in that field, we're getting potatoes. Then we're getting wheat. Then we're getting potatoes and wheat. Then we're getting potatoes, wheat, potatoes and wheat. So every second year we're getting a double crop. Now, field number 3 is going to be sunflower, buckwheat, fallow. Sunflower, buckwheat, fallow. And then this field will be fallow, sunflower, fallow, sunflower, buckwheat, fallow, sunflower, buckwheat. This will just ensure that everything is going to go smoothly. I don't need to think about the farming. And now the last one is the only one that'll be a bit different, and it's purely just because I want to keep it so that we're only ever harvesting 3 fields at once. So currently we've got 2 fields fallow every year, every season, so 6 seasons, and that's going to be to keep it 3 fields. We will be hemp, fallow, fallow, hemp, fallow, fallow. So, as you can see, year 1, potatoes, sunflowers, and hemp. Year 2, wheat, buckwheat, sunflowers. Year 3, potatoes, wheat, buckwheat. Year 4, potatoes, sunflowers, and hemp. 5, wheat, buckwheat, sunflowers. 6, potatoes, wheat, buckwheat. As you can see, there's a pattern there. We're only ever harvesting 3 fields. We're only ever getting 3 crops from each field. But we do rotate, and because they're large enough fields, that should carry us, this year's potatoes should carry us over into the following year, and so on. And if not, then we get a bumper harvest in year 3. As long as we keep these soil condition, using the fallow fields or putting the cows into pasture, we will continue to get good crop yields. So we'll do that now. We've got a man on there. I did say hire women only for workers. The manager, it doesn't matter. He's taken the job. We'll just see how we go. I do need him for a fishing job. He's taken a job there. I wonder if activate, nearly left that then without getting this planted. So he should, there you go. All these labourers have now come down and they're going to start sowing these fields, and that will make that great. That's going to be... Okay, they're saying they can't get to these fields. If you see that white marker, they're getting in there somehow, but see that white marker? That I find that a bit... it's obviously... that doesn't disappear now. It does when I reload the game, but it's obviously just because they're still in the sort of early stages of creating the game, so I'm sure they'll get that fixed. But I have to deal with that. But that, yeah, I've found that when they can't access something, this appears and lets you know that they don't have access to a certain area. I found it when I was trying to cut trees down or plant trees that they can't get to. They're just, these lines are saying from where they're coming from to where they're going. Destination is blocked. The route is blocked. It's obviously a mapping issue in the game, but that's fine. Okay, blacksmith, are you making nails? Yeah, he's got... Wow, how many labourers do you need? Alright, we've got nobody working here, so I need to reduce one of the builders and then give that job back to this guy. And hopefully that... No workers, so let's put some workers in, and I want to change that manager to... I shouldn't have done that now, but... hopefully that will... Yes, female manager, perfect. So now we've got... Yeah, he's gone back to work at the forestry. And I just want to make sure the wages... I think I did it. I did do it, yeah. They tend to move around depending on the wages. They're struggling for wood, but that's okay because we've got guys working there now. Firewood's pretty... Okay, we're pretty low on everything. I wonder if I just... Okay, we're going to lose a couple of builders. How many we've got? 3. Let's take one more off of there and put them on farming. Okay, so they're also telling me that they can't get up the top there. Why not? I selected to remove trees, apparently. Interesting. I don't know why you're telling me that. Because there is access. That is the quickest route. I think maybe that's what they're telling me. I don't know. Well, we'll just do that. No, that's because they can't get through there. So let's just put a little break in this fence here. Here we go. Now, sorry guys, that's just again, it's just showing me. I quite like it because obviously now I know that they would have just been walking around trying to get to that point forever. Again, I know that this isn't the most efficient way of doing it. By putting fences in, you're blocking their paths and they can't go direct route, so they have to go around, but it creates, creates everything else that we need to fall in line. So I think that's a pretty good episode. We've got the farms set down. We've got our 5 fields. Farms is in place. They should be sowing those fields. Yeah, well, look, they've sown that one. That's fallow anyway. They're in the middle of sowing this one. And then they'll jump onto these 2. It's only... it's April now. I need to probably stop the blacksmiths from having so many labourers because... yeah, it's a little bit crazy, mate. It's overkill. Give them back because they need to go work on the farm. Yeah, that's fine. As long as nobody else is claiming labourers, they should all go work on the farm. We'll put some workers in. 22 open vacancies for women. Look, I'll worry about this behind the scenes. I'll fix that up. That's fine. Yeah, so we've got, we've got all the farms in. We've got the... I'll just pause it so I can fix that without worrying about the farms. We've got the boatyard in and a fishing dock pretty much there. Blacksmiths is done, the carpenter's finished, so this is all coming together now. The farms are in place, skeleton's in place. We are getting there, guys. We are working towards a better town. So, look, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, hit that like button for me. And don't forget to subscribe for more content, and then tune in for episode 3 where we will continue on. Thanks again, guys. See you soon.